So the whole reason I got into this mess is because I don't have any like real up travel. With the car settled, it's about half of this, and I only have about an inch of travel before I'm getting up into the wheel well here. So I'm gonna cut all that out and retub it in with the trailer fenders I have. And then from there, we're gonna do the fenders after that. Body line in these spots, and then I line this one up at the back seam of the taillight, so I can do the same thing on the other side and measure the distance this way, and then measure off the body line down, so I can make the same cut on both sides. It's fitting better. It's touching hard here, and I can push up and get it, the hammer in the stomach, and then the whole rest of it lines up nice. But right over here is a gap, and that's because right here is touching hard right near the dash bar, so I might have to pull that off. I was also hoping to get this down as far as I can, so I'm gonna have to play with that. But then this is gonna be the painful part, the like back notch, because I don't want an overlapping piece in there. That's kind of hack. So I'm gonna trace up against this inner fender, try to get that profile cut out here, so then I can weld from the inside up against it, which is gonna suck. Once I figure out where the side skirt's gonna be, I'm gonna cut the rest of it off, because it looks stupid. And I understand it looks stupid now, but it's just to lay it out. A bunch of it's gonna get trimmed away. I just want a nice sturdy liner for the tire.
How you feeling about it?
Well, I also hate it, but this doesn't matter. So it's in the right spot. It looks terrible, but that's what it's for. It's not going great. I gotta cut the edge off this before I can lay it up against it. It's hard to like visualize because the wheel well doesn't work right now. It's in the wrong spot. So I want to move this back a little bit so I can make a scoop for the front fans. So the wheel well is too far backward. It was already rusty, so I got these. Get it. Look, less down. But I'm gonna have to like pull this edge out a little bit. And I want to lower the back a little bit more. So that'll all get cut off. Get the back there. And I'll have a wheel well sort of there. Sort of something roughly kind of like me holding pieces of junk to a car. I'm doing this the smarter way, but the more time consuming way. Because like, I'm trying to sneak up on it so I don't ruin this piece. So I only have two. So I'm trying to just trim a little bit at a time and get it fitting where I want. I thought I wanted it flush, which is how I want this. But now that I'm thinking about it, if you look at this panel, it's actually the wheel well part here is gonna be mounted up here. So I have an extra inch past that. So I can pull this in another bit, which will help save me from having to make a patch panel. And then I can directly mount that somehow that I have yet to figure out. I didn't really like the lines are not very subtle when they're on the car, but when you have the panel off, they are kind of tricky to locate, because I wanted to cut just over the radius so I could try to use a little bit of that leading edge of that body line, because I didn't like how the front really came out. We're still going to revisit that. So I took a different approach here. I kind of traced out my line just over the body line, so you can't really see it, but I can feel it here where I have that little bit of a radius. So that when I put my patch panel in, it should soften the radius a little bit and won't look like a 90-degree angle, or that's my hope. So I just chemically stripped this and then cut it on the body line. So this is the upper one, which I have, these are Clecos, which are a temporary rivet. The little pliers and they're squeeze and unsqueeze. So yeah, I'm back in the playing make-believe stage with sheet metal pieces, kind of trying to figure out what I want to do. So this combined with this and stuff, but I don't have enough hands right now, so now I got to actually start like mounting things and working it in. How I imagined it is a very loose, like, kind of wanted something sort of box flared and wider. So.
And just bought the pieces and you were gonna figure it out.
Yeah. I knew I needed to move the wheel well, and the quarters I had were rusty, so I had to buy replacement arches. The bottom of the quarter didn't have the rocker part, so that's originally why I bought them, just because I knew they were missing from these. But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense to just make a side skirt out of it. And I had already smashed both front fenders. So before I put the wheel well in, I need this to be more secure than it is. It's just kind of flopping all over the place, and I want the wheel well to be in a nice, I don't know, reasonable position. So I think it makes sense to do this upper filler piece first to square up the fender and make sure that it's where I want it before figuring out the arch. Because the other thing is, if you look at it from the side, I have control over the angle now. Whoa! And I want it to be the same as the upper. So I can move it up and down a little bit, and that changes everything according to here. you know, because it's a bigger rolling diameter than this car would have had. I had to open the wheel well up. So I was able to take pieces from the quarter off of that parts car and then kind of graft it in. I split the replacement, you know, the rust repair arch, and then added in about 2 inches on either side, and that kind of stretched the arc and got it to line up better with this diameter wheel. Like, I like that this edge and this edge are, you know, kind of, you know, the same. It's not parallel because they're not straight lines, but parallel. I think this is too flat. I think it needs to come down a little bit, this edge. But also right here looks very flat this way. And I'd rather have some curvature to it, but that's hard to do with what I have. And if I cut it to try to put curvature into it, it's really hard to come back from.
Rather than a continuous, well, like from this shape, rather than a single continuous arc, the more you bring it in the back, the more it's going to look like it's pointing at the door. So I was kind of thinking, well, you could obviously very slightly come out and then
Like transition back a little.
yeah, just transition back where it's convex all through here and then a little bit of concavity through here. Very slight.
Yeah.
From a side profile, and I don't know if it would translate to do something similar. That probably really complicates things.
Number one problem, if you had to pick one.
Oh, they're all number one.
No, number one.
Number one is the front fender sideline.
I mean, that was weird.
About the rear? I don't know. That's why I picked the front.
Oh, yeah.
I think the number one problem is how flat the top looks.
Right.
And the only reason it exists right now is because sitting where I am, which you'll never be looking at the car at, I wanted this line to line up with this line.
Yeah.
And it does, from right here at face level. But then you stand up and you're like, it doesn't matter. Why does that? Who cares? This looking close to parallel, like, you're gonna tell that it's not in some areas. And then if you make it intentionally, just like it wasn't supposed to be parallel,
Yeah, I'm just
then
saying
it's not
like
annoying.
A whisker more. I'm not saying like a ton. Like I'm saying, yeah, a half inch off the end here.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
And then if I'm gonna do that, I can't trim anything from up here.
Right.
I have to do that like a half inch there-ish and try to hope that comes together. Do you think the S is the right thing?
No,
No?
it's scary.
It's scary. That's not what I said. Is it?
I mean, if you nail it, you nail it. I mean, it seems difficult.
I don't want difficulty to be the issue I don't do it.
No, that's my only reservation there. It's especially because, like, you know, with everything coming together at kind of like a nice even angle as it is, you know, especially when looking at this corner this way, you know, I don't want to see this change height this way. Yeah,
do the wooblies.
Because I can see you know, coming in a quarter inch here, coming down a quarter inch there, and then this corner just doing a roller coaster. Because that seems really hard too, and I can't really think in my brain how.
I'm like minimal thinking about it, just trying to like persuade myself that doing this and doing this makes it the same, which it very well might not. But that if I take it,
What might be worth doing. Oh God, this is gonna be tough.
it's already tough. Yeah, because like this top edge being flat, like this way, the size of this, and how sharp this corner is driving me nuts. And all of those are alleviated at the same time.
Oh, yeah, same thing.
Same issues I realistically have at the front. And then also, I have to do something in the back. I don't think the S-curve is the right move on the backside. I think just coming in a little.
Yeah, looks good.
And then kind of doing that.
I think what you need to do is cut these tacks
And try
and
it.
shape just this edge where you want it. And then you can pull this and move it around
and then help, like literally cut the tacks and draw it on there. Because if this is gonna, and then you can twist it and put the corner where you want it to be, and then see if you have the ability.
The other thing I'm afraid of by doing the S up here is that I have to do something with the bottom.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? You think the bottom can be in flat and it's fine?
Yeah, because once you have some kind of smooth jazz going on up top, you don't really pay attention to what's going down the bottom.
Smooth jazz. That's what we're calling this, Operation Smooth Jazz. Not that we'll be able to tell if we like it when it's covered in yellow.
I get the spray paint.
Yellow zebra. This is gonna be fun to weld. I think the front needs more. I'm okay with the back.
Mm-hmm.
Over here is a little weird still.
Like it just needs to look very intentional,
Yeah. Well,
And I think it's just
a little too subtle.
Yeah.
It's easier to go more aggressive.
But I think that's it. I think that's it, though. I mean, I think you were just it's just here.
Right.
Leave that where it is. Must.
Yeah, over here's good. Just kind of. Would you? Is it in or this way? I think this way is the bigger thing.
Oh, well, see, I think Sharpie's throwing that off too, because you have Sharpie here, and I don't think that's happening for real.
I think I'm more tempted to change it on the side panel than just because going by.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes more sense because
the angle of this.
Yeah.
This is off from here to here.
Yeah.
So if I just drop that same spline down a little bit again.
Yeah, from here over.
Yeah.
Straighten that out a smidge.
Oh.
Like another, with an 1/8 inch here, taper into.
Yeah, nothing over here or something like that.
Yeah.
You need more S.
More S. Which
Good
side?
job, Shane.
I think your bulge here needs to be more exaggerated, so you need to come in farther up here.
Hell yeah. All right, cut it apart.
Well, there's no cutting.
It's unanimous.
That's why I went with the tape.
You still have to, okay, yeah. Peel it off, peel it apart, peel it apart.
You're a little. That and
The tape on, so you cut it good.
yeah, just a whisker. I want to sneak up on it. I can't do that.
I can do
That one.
Yours is way worse.
It's gonna be great. You just interpolate that.
Yeah.
Fine.
Use that Sharpie. Okay.
So good.
And over here, I need it to like fade up here. Oh, that's the wrong piece. Yeah. Is it better?
Yes.
Was it good enough?
No.
Oh.
Never mind.
Never mind, you're screwed. Just keep
Yeah, just keep taping.
I can see where it is. Right here. It's still got a little happening. Maybe it's
Looking
from the side.
it's
It
way
does.
better.
I do like this a lot better than when
Yeah.
before I cut
The
it.
stripes are really throwing it off over here now, but if you look down this way, it kind of starts to blend in a little bit.
Yeah, it does the thing.
But I'm curious if it looks like it gets too flat right here.
Well,
It
I think
dents a little there.
what I think is the problem is this is outdenting. Spring.
If you just cover it up with tape, you won't see it.
Oh, why don't I not even weld it? Just get some vinyl and then just stick it together with that. That's better. Yeah. It's a little scary.
Like you just put enough in there just to put a line to it, and I think
Definitely
you're good.
looks intentional now. So
Yeah.
I think that looks worlds better.
Which means you don't have to go heavy on the front either when you do it. Just, low.
No, I've learned. And it turns out the side doesn't really matter. Had I kept this out just a little bit more, I would have liked it.
Yep.
Yeah, your angle drop down now too. So I
Mhm.
think your angle drop's perfect now.
Yeah, I like that. It's pretty consistent, which was my other fear. Because the only way I can control it after the fact was with the angle of the panel. Lumpy.
So after all the input you got, how you feeling about it?
I feel better, actually. I was persuaded to do the riskier move and try a little bit of an S-turn here, which you can't really tell unless you're like, I don't know, super lengthways looking at it. But it made all the difference, in my opinion. This is one of those things that, like, most people won't notice, but there's always like some little line that's like just a smidge off or something that ruins something. So all of that little detail makes a difference. You know, I was dreading the first side, I'm dreading the second side more. I mean, it should be-
Because of the gas door?
yeah, the gas door doesn't help. But then now I have to like make it match the other side. It's kind of a bummer too. More of those like not motivating things to do. Like I really like working on cars and making stuff. There's some stuff that really sucks though, like cutting inside wheel wells or rusty areas or Like, I'm gonna have to make a little filler panel here on both sides. Not excited about that. So I'm trying to sneak up on this profile into the part. This is this inner wall here. Just have to cut a little shorter. We're trying to just sneak up on that until it sits nice. But the back of it's rotted out there. So I think I'm just gonna like squeeze it and get it close. Because I don't want a ton of smoke in the car. That's my only concern. It's like that's entrance area to the fan. There's gonna be that divider there, but it's never gonna be perfect. So I tried to kind of mirror what I did on the other side, but it's a little different. But I made a template, a cardboard piece from like this body line to this wheel arch. I kind of cut that profile and tried to mock it up from the other side. Then measured off the tail light gap here, put it in the same spot. Traced that, cut it, and that got me pretty close to where this fit. I had to like trim it just a little bit, but it's not too bad. As you see, we have a gas door here. It's not my gas door anymore, but it is kind of in the way. So I was able to kind of trim around that, and I'll just kind of weld the whole thing in. You'll never see it again, but it's there. Yeah, and all because I'm trying to finish the front fender. So that's why I had to start here, because I need the side skirt on to finish the bottom of the front fender. In order to mount the side skirt, it mounts from the back, which off this flange. So I had to put this in, and now I have to figure out how to make it the same as the other side, and kind of trim this to make the profile of that side skirt thing, and get that mocked up as well. So for now, it's just tacked, and in case I have to change anything. So I'll have to figure out where I need to trim this lip, because I had to trim it on the other side to get it to line up nice with that quarter, but that doesn't exist yet. So kind of have to do like a couple steps forward, a couple steps back, you know, kind of keep things the same as how we did it on the other side. Just, you know, try to make it similar.
Feeling good about this side so far?
Yeah, I mean, I was dreading doing this because it's gross and there's a bunch of undercoating and awfulness, and like cutting and welding upside down sucks. So now that this is out of the way, that helps. Also not looking forward to doing the side skirt because it's like, you know, I don't know, 5 feet, 6 feet of weld, and that's 3 times on that piece. So I've been dreading that, but I just need to get it out of the way. This side, trying to make it similar has been difficult, and I don't know if it's a lack of patience or what, but this side came out shittier than the other side. It'll be fine. It's just not as nice. There's also some things like this had a gas filler door here, so I had to fill that. It kind of made it weird, but because of the gas filler door thing, like I filled that first before I cut it, just to like try to keep the panel in the same shape. And that sort of worked, but then like cutting the arc, there was nothing to measure off of between the two. Like you can't measure off the wheel arch because I hadn't done that yet. Or you had to measure off of like here, but that's still super vague. And then kind of you can do some stuff off the body line. So just to like figure out roughly where I cut this part was a big guess. The top panel was pretty easy. I just kind of laid it across the other one. Cut that out the same. These are low spots. So some of them I fixed, some of them I have not yet. I was just looking at it and there was like a low spot in the light. Like here's still a pretty good low spot. I fixed this one. This one's not too bad. This one's okay. This is still bad. So I was trying to remember before I went back to the planishing hammer last time. So it's close. This one I can sneak out a little bit from behind it now. But I've also welded in the wheel wells now on both sides. There's still a couple little areas I need to finish, like the front of this one. It's a little tricky because it wants to start the car on fire over there. It's just a bunch of seam sealer between panels you can't get out anymore. So I've wire wheeled everything I can, but it's still bonded between panels. So kind of have to take it slow and pay attention. But I don't need to do that right now. Right now, I'm more annoyed with the front. So that's the next thing, fixing the front.